Hey everybody, Luke here, and for the next half an hour or 40 minutes or so, I'm going to work on modeling up this. It's a bicycle CO2 pump. Working with a friend of mine to model this up for something he's making. And I'm going to try to answer questions as I'm going. I may not. I might be talking. I may not be talking a lot. But if you have any questions, ask them in the chat window, and I'll be sure to answer them. And I am going to be using, because I don't have a set of calipers, my trusty scale. We're going to be working in millimeters, and I'm going to create this entire piece here, so I'm going to get you a really good close look at that. I'm going to create this entire component. It's actually an assembly. If you take a look at it, there's the green levers, all kinds of plastic, some metal pieces in here. There's some internals. I'm not going to worry about the internals, and I really don't need this to behave as an assembly, so I'm going to model this up as a multi-body part inside of Inventor, and I'm going to do this in millimeters. So let's get started. And so you don't have to see me too often, I'm going to minimize that, and also to clean up the screen there. Alrighty. So let's start a new metric part file. And this is going to be about as accurate as this scale can be. So again, this is just for kind of fitting things up. So let's get a handful of measurements off of this. 20, let's say 22 by 20. I want to make sure we're always on the XYZ plane. And we're going to start a circle. That's going to be about 22 millimeters. And let's extrude this, and that was about, let's say 20 millimeters, is that right? Say about 20 millimeters. We'll worry about those threads later. And then we get a little bit wider there. We're going to say 29, 28 millimeters. Go 29 millimeters, and this is going to be this really thin lip. So if you take a look there, there's a really thin lip right above, actually right above the threads, and then we'll get into that housing piece on the top there. So let's say that's going to be 29, not 29 millimeters, this is only going to be like 1 millimeter, right? So this is going to be, we'll say 2 millimeters. That looks a little big. We'll go with 1.5. Okay, so we got the bottom of that done. And what we're going to do now is we're going to move to this more complicated top piece. And if you take a look here, it's kind of squarish in this direction, kind of oblong in that direction. So this is probably going to be, I don't know, maybe a revolve, and then we're going to cut some sides off, add some squares. Yeah, we'll see what this ends up looking like. So from there up, this is going to be 33 millimeters. So let's go with And this goes even wider, doesn't it? So this is going to be... If anybody out there feels like donating a pair of calipers, that would be awesome. We're going to say 30, and we're going to say that's going to be about 33 millimeters. So let's go with, so I'm going to put a work plane, and off of this surface we're going to go about 33 millimeters, and that's going to be this little top rounded piece right there. And then I think I'm going to loft down to the circle, and then we'll add the cuts on in that direction right there. And so that looks like it's about, we're going to say that's going to be like 20, I don't know, maybe 25. So I put a sketch on here, we'll look right at it. Do a circle, this is going to be 25 millimeters. Finish sketch. And here's a tip: if you're working with a lot of stuff, and every time you look at it in the orthographic view, I don't know if you noticed. This circle's 25 millimeters, and this outside one is 29, but when I'm looking at it, it looks bigger, and that's because you're in a perspective view. So there's a vanishing point, so things closer are larger, things further away are smaller. If you right-click on the little home right there, and you go to Perspective with Ortho Faces, what that does is only when you're in an ortho mode, it actually looks directly at it. So you can see that is now the appropriate size. And now we can actually loft that. So we are going to loft from that edge to that edge. That looks about right. We're going to end up cleaning this up anyways. Right. And then we're going to see how that went to an ortho mode. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mirrored cut, taking out this little curved portion right there. So that is, we're just going to be eyeballing this too. So let's put a sketch right there. Slice my graphics. How wide is this? That's going to be 20 millimeters wide. So we will come down. And we'll say, oh, got out of that sketch a little too soon. So let's slice those graphics again. And let's dimension from here to here. And that's going to be, what did I say that was? 21 millimeters divided by 2, because it's just half of it. And we got that. And that looks like it's running off just about the right area. So we'll go to there. And then let's close this up. We're going to extrude this as a cut both directions, all. So it's going to cut that away. We'll mirror this over to the other side. We're going to mirror that about that mirror plane. Ooh, I missed something. Mirror that extrusion about. Helps if I pick the right one. There we go. That is about the beginnings of that. Doesn't need to be perfect. It looks like we got a flat on the back. Whoop, I'm not pointing at the wrong screen. It's flat on the back side, it looks like, and then meets up with those other ones, but it's a little bit lower. So let's do a plane, and we're just going to kind of eyeball this. Looks like it goes right to that back edge. So actually we could do this. We could do a work plane that is parallel with this and tangent with that. So if you look directly at it, that's where that feature is going to start. We'll put a sketch right there. This is a little bit narrower than the back. If you take a peek at that, it's just a hair narrower, like 0.5 millimeter. So I will do, and this goes all the way down, so we will project, and we'll project some geometry. Actually, no, I can just do a 2-point rectangle, right? It's a little bit lower too. We will do a vertical constraint between that and, whoop, wrong one. Let's do a horizontal constraint between that and that. And let's project that, and we will do a coincident constraint between those two. And that looks about good. So we will extrude this, and we're going to do 2 necks. So it's just going to run into the side of that. And I was looking for this command the other day. If you have any work planes on that you have created, I couldn't remember what it was. If you do Alt right bracket, that turns the visibility of them on. And Control right bracket does it if you've turned the visibility on of your origin plane. So if I turn these origin planes on, and now I do Control right bracket, I can actually turn them on or off. You have to turn them on manually the first time, but once you have turned them on, now the Control right bracket kind of toggles those, and the Alt right bracket does work planes. So Control is origin planes, Alt is work planes that you create. Okay, let's get some, no, I don't want to do fillets yet. That's always, you want to save your fillets for the end if you can. And it looks like that plastic piece is also tangent with the other side. So let's do a work plane that is parallel and tangent. And how far down is that? So the center of that is, I don't know, 39 millimeters, something like that. So we'll do a sketch right there. We'll do a circle. It's going to be centered, and then the distance from the very bottom to here, that's going to be about, we'll say 39 millimeters. No, that's not 39 millimeters. That is, we'll go from the top. It'll be easier to measure. We'll go, let's go with 45 millimeters. That's better. And we will extrude. Whoop. It's blue, so I still have to add my next dimension. So that is 15 millimeters. There we go. Extrude distance to next. Okay. So that takes care of most of the plastic. And I'm not worried about any of the slotting on here. Again, this is really just for fit and finish so that you can pop this into an assembly for clearance purposes. So I'm not going to worry about any of these plastic cuts here or here. I'm just going to get the nozzle piece on. We'll make the thread area maybe a little more detail. We'll get that bottom hole put in there. and then we'll model these green pieces so we can get an idea of where these triggers are. So let's finish this up. And now we're going to start doing some multi-bodies. So right now, that takes care of pretty much all the plastic pieces, I think. And now I have a little metal piece here at the very end that I'm going to work with. And whenever I look at this, I want that to be a different material. So I'm going to need to do a second body for that as a multi-body part. And then whenever I do these green triggers, those will also be different bodies. So let's get this next one in. So we'll do a sketch on this face. And we'll do a circle right at that center point. Project some geometry right at that center point. Let's see, how big is that? That is about 9 millimeters. And I should be dimensioning as I go. That's probably the easiest thing to do. That's going to stick out a total of 15. And this is whenever you want to make sure you turn on your multi-body option. And that's this right here, new solid. So that way you'll have a brand new solid. That way you can apply different material to it. So that's going to stick out 15 millimeters. Now when you build stuff off of this, it should be, in most cases, a part of that body. Sometimes you have to tell it to be a part of the body, or choose a different one, but it should pick that up because I'm building it off of that end. This is going to be 18 millimeters. And let's extrude. It's going to go back in because I actually went as far out as I could, and I'm going to cut that piece back in, and that cuts back in 9 millimeters. And let's see, we will add just some chamfers to this to make it look a little better. That looks pretty good. And we will punch a hole in the center of this just to make it look good. We'll do a concentric placement, that face, that concentric reference. That inside diameter is roughly 8 millimeters. And that's deep enough, just enough so that we can see that. Let's shut those work planes off so we can see what we're working with. Alrighty, that's looking pretty good. We're gonna, should I fillet this yet? No, I'm gonna wait to fillet. So I'm going to create the two green lever pieces. The back one is a lock. I'm just going to put it in the open position because whenever this is being used, you'll squeeze that trigger. If you have it locked, then the trigger doesn't move. So just for clearance reasons, you kind of want to know where that's going to be when you pull the trigger. So that is, looks like it's horizontal with the top of that. So we'll do a new sketch right here. Let's project that edge right there. Let's see, how big is this? This is, it's about 17 millimeters by 4 millimeters. Let's do a rectangle. We'll do 17 millimeters by 4 millimeters, and then I'm just going to do a constraint to move this to that midpoint. And is that right? 4 millimeters? That seems pretty. It's more like 3 millimeters. There we go. That sticks out approximately 5 millimeters. And this also needs to be a separate body, so I will turn new solid on. And that's probably not what I want to do. That little sliver gap right there is going to give me some problems. So what I want to do is, since I want this to be as clean as it can, we're just kind of messing with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to edit that sketch. I'm going to get rid of that 17 millimeter dimension. I'm going to project that line right there. And then I'm going to do a coincident constraint to pull that over so it's right on the edge. Because I was already centered, it should be centered from left to right. Yep, it is. Finish that sketch. And the reason you still have a line there is because these are two separate bodies. So that's why there's a line there. A lot of people ask that question when you're doing multi-body solids inside of Inventor. If I didn't do this, actually I'll show you. Let me see if I can, let's edit that feature. Can I uncheck that? No, I'd have to back up. I'll show you that with the next one. Okay, so that one is done, and looks like there's a little bit of a slope to this. So let's actually do this as well. And I'll draw a line from there to there. And again, we're just eyeballing this just for clearance reasons. We will cut distance all. Okay, there we go. And then we got some little corner chamfers and a little round on that. So we will add a chamfer here and a chamfer here. And we'll do a sketch on the bottom of this. So we have a nice flat surface, easy to work with. Whoops. There we go, and let's draw a circle. Actually, let's project this line first, and then we'll draw a circle right about there. We'll do some constraints to lock that in so it's centered. If it's not horizontal, it's vertical. If it's not vertical, it's horizontal. There we go. And let's extrude that as a cut distance all. Oops, if I pick the right one. And there we go. There's the beginning of that. And then let's go to our bodies and start messing with this a little bit. So this solid, if we go to properties, and I could do it this way too. I could just pick that solid and I could go to I like these smooth colors. Let's go to a smooth green. Let's do select bodies. There we go. So if you're trying to select bodies to adjust color rather than digging through the solid bodies here, you could just change your selection to bodies, and now I can pick more than just a surface. So I can come in here now and it won't just grab that one surface. So I'll go to dark sea green and let's grab this one, and this is going to be smooth. This is going to be black actually. And this one here is going to be a metal. So let's go with steel. I don't know. Let's go with steel. Maybe a black color. Let's see what we got. We'll just go with that's not really that good. Let's pick a different color. Let's go with a smooth. Actually, let's make that the smooth black, and then let's make this like a gray color. Smooth medium gray. There we go. Okay, so now we got the beginnings of what this should look like. Okay, now it's going to start to get a little complicated. This lever, I'm not super worried about making it perfect, but I do want to obviously do the best job that I can. I want to make sure that I get that round in the front. I want to make sure that I get the distance out correctly. So let's see what we can do here. So that comes in. far does that come in from the side? That comes in about 1 millimeter from the side. So I'm just going to do probably half of this, -1 millimeter. We're going to sketch on that plane, look right at it. We're going to slice our graphics so we can see what we're doing. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to draw that profile right there. And I'm going to embed this in the part, and you'll see why in a second. A lot of folks might draw right on that edge, but since we're doing this as a multi-body part, I want to actually embed that so that I don't get any kind of funny edges, or when I do my extrusion, it doesn't cause kind of any problems. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to extrude that whole thing straight across, and then I'm going to clean it up after the fact, I think. Let's see. Alrighty, so this is roughly, it looks like it's a straight line from right about the center of that. So we'll just track down to there, maybe a little bit higher, and then it goes to right about there, and it curves to right about there, and then it's a straight right about there. And these are tangents, so let's make that and that tangent. That radius is just too big. Let's put a dimension on this to hold it. Let's say 26. I don't want that getting too big. And then we'll draw a line right about, again, we're just eyeballing. We'll say right about there. And we'll make that and that tangent. Okay, that's better. And then we're going to clean this up when we're all done. So we're going to come down here. We're going to go there. There's going to be an arc right about there, and then it's going to be tangent. Okay. And we're going to say, you know what I want to do? I'm going to put a plane on the other side that I can extrude to, that's 1 millimeter from the other side. So rather than trying to mess with this, let's just finish this sketch. We will put another work plane that is -1 millimeter. So now I have a plane here, and now I can do an extrude. I can say 2, I can pick that plane. I'm going to do a separate body. There we go. Shut those work planes off. Let's make that body, that green color so it matches smooth sea green. I think I'm going to do a full round fillet on that because that is a perfect fillet. So I'm going to do a fillet. We will do a full round, and the trick with full rounds, you just got to make sure you pick them in order. I'm going to pick this face, and then this face, and it adds that fillet for me. And we'll hit OK. So there is that. And then there's this cutout that happens around the actual center cylinder there. So let's figure that out next. Looks like it's enough clearance, so let's do a work plane. Actually, you know what? We can use an origin plane right there. Sketch. We're gonna slice our graphics. Let's flip the other way and slice them that way. And let's do let's project that circle there, and we just need to make this circle bigger because it clears it. And let's make that construction, and then let's extrude. Let's do a cut. So when you have multiple solids, you want to make sure that you tell it what solid to do it with. And by default, since I projected that edge, it thought that's the one I wanted to work with. So what you want to make sure you do when you're doing multi-body solids, so it affects the proper one, is you have to choose the solids that that extrusion is going to be occurring with, basically. And we'll just go both directions, all, and so there is that cut and that, and that is probably, it's a little too big. Let's edit that sketch. We want to bring that in just a little bit. And finish that sketch. There we go, that's better. Alrighty, so now let's add some fillets and we'll wrap up this bottom piece. Yeah, I'm not going to add those threads. I can put some cosmetic threads on there, and again, since we're just worried about clearances, I will add that bottom hole though, so we can get the connections in there correctly. So let's just do a quick hole command. We'll do a concentric placement on that concentric surface, and we'll do the inside hole roughly. So this is going to be about 9 millimeters. And we don't want it to go through all. We want to go like just some specific distance. We really don't care how deep it is as long as it's just there for visual reasons. Looks like there's a kind of a big chamfer on that too. So what we'll do is we will add a chamfer on this inside, and we're just going to kind of eyeball this again. Let's take that chamfer, and that looks pretty good. Let's throw a few cosmetic threads on here. And we don't want it to go the full length. Let's say 15 millimeters. Actually, you know what? Let's do some threads. We got some time, right? So let's do a sketch right there. We're going to slice our graphics. Let's project. They start, let's see. And again, we're just kind of doing some eyeballing here. Did I project that edge? There we go. So we're going to say they start right about there. They're going to come out. And this is where you just want to make sure that whenever you do this, that they are symmetrical. So I'm going to do a horizontal constraint between that midpoint and there. So now whenever I drag this thread, however big it is, there we go. Let's finish the sketch. Let's do a coil. There's my profile. Let's pick the axis. Let's try that again. Let's do a coil. Let's pick this center axis. Why is it not letting me pick the axis? Let me try that again. Let's edit this sketch. My guess is it's picking up this sketch and thinking that that is the axis. So let's shut that off. finish the sketch. Oh, you know what? I need my center axis. That's right. So let's slice those graphics. Let's look right at this. And let's draw a line from the center point to there. Let's make that, whoop, that's not even horizontal. What am I doing? Let's figure this out. So let's go there, there. Let's make that a center line. And now let's try doing our coil command. There we go. Your coil profile needs to be in the sketch, not a piece of geometry. Coil size, oh goodness. So this is going to be roughly, I don't know, we're going to say 10 centimeters. And we're going to do how many revolutions? We're going to say this does, I don't know, 8 revolutions. We want the revolution and the total height. And we'll do a flat end and a flat end. Let's do a natural end and a natural end. We want to attach it to that solid. That's why my OK wasn't. Yeah, I don't think it likes my ends is the problem. Let's do natural and natural. There we go. So there's our threads. And I think we are, oh, we got to add our fillets now. Let's add some fillets. I think I might throw the cylinder on just for some graphical representation reasons, just so that kind of looks like the way we want it to. But let's get some fillets on here first, start to make this look a little better. So we'll put those on right there. Let's make those a little bit bigger, right about there. Let's do a little loop of fillets right there. Yeah, here's the drawback. Is this a separate body? No, that's not a separate body. Why isn't it doing that? Let's try, filleting. There we go. That looks pretty good. We'll do a fillet there. Yeah, that's looking good. We'll do a fillet there and there. Actually, this is really starting to look like what I thought it would look like. Didn't like that last one. We'll just leave that one off for now. And I think it's because I did this little multi-body. Well, there's actually technically a cutout there, so we can't actually leave that like that. We'll just leave that one alone, and then we will come in here and do a sketch on the center axis here. Slice our graphics, and then we're going to model in this cylinder. So that's going to be, we'll have it stick all the way in there. So let's do a sketch right there. F7, we'll project that line, and then we will do a overall length is going to be 80 millimeters. We'll do a little round up to there. It's a little bit bigger. Probably not exactly perfect, but close enough. And we will revolve this as a new part. try that again. Revolve. This is going to be a new part. Center axis. Hit OK. We're still set to bodies. Let's change this to, I don't know, like a chrome maybe, so it's nice and shiny. Chrome polished. And I think we're close to done. I think that looks, let me make this a little bit bigger for you. So you, actually, you know what? Always save. Let's do a quick save here. And let's take a quick peek at this. So I think those two look roughly the same. Do a quick render and then we will wrap it up. So you don't need to see me that much. We'll do that. And let's do a view. Let's go to a realistic. And let's go to, I like the warm light or a photo booth. Photo booth is actually a little dark. Let's go to cool light. There we go. And then let's go to a quick ray trace of this. And there we go. Well, I think this is hopefully going to be a regular thing. If you liked it, make sure that you, add some comments. If you have some designs you'd like to see, maybe send me a model, send me a picture, send me a bicycle pump, whatever you want to send me, and we'll go from there. Have a great day, everybody. See ya.